Hey guys, I'm gonna do a little video showing what happens when you put things like elbows and things like that in front of a MAP sensor and how bad it screws up the MAP output. So what this is right now is this is just a simple 3.5-inch MAP housing with a filter directly connected to the top of it. Super simple, ordinary installation. And if you look at the output over here of the MAP, that line and those numbers tell you the output of the MAP. So that -9 on the bottom means that your MAP would be 9% lean. The 9% on the 9 on the top means the MAP would be 9% rich. So you can see that the signal is super quiet, that the output of the MAP is less than like plus or minus 0.25%. So this is really nice, smooth, stable MAP output. This flow right now that I'm doing is idle. It's gonna get really noisy in a second, so I'm gonna show you what full throttle on the car would be to show you the noise at that end. So give it a minute to recycle. Okay, and there you have the high flow output. You can see that it's, the noise is about plus or minus 1%. So, and again, really nice, smooth, stable MAP output. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to now go to low flow, and I am going to put this on the inlet of the MAP. Super common. Some cold air intakes use these kind of things and stuff like that, or just figure your turbo intercooler plumbing. So I'm going to mount this to the inlet of the MAP. Put the same filter right on the end of it, so that's not variance. And I haven't changed anything. And we're gonna walk back over to the flow stand and look at how much it threw the MAP off. So we're not even on the chart because it's so far. So I'm actually gonna have to change my scaling to bring this line back up on the screen. What you can't see on the screen is the low flow at idle is off by 25%. So it's 25% lean just by putting that elbow on it. We'll do high flow real quick just to show you where it's at. Again, not even on the scale. It looks like it's running at about negative 20% at wide open throttle. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change my scaling just so that it shows up on the graph so you can see noise in the MAP output. So I'm going to get it closer to 0 now. So we're going to move everything by 25% so the graph is right. Yes, it is. Give me a second. So I think we're still about 10% lean. 1. There. Okay, so now that I've got the scaling correct, that is the noise. So that line you see jumping, that is going all the way from past 9% rich all the way down to 9% clean. So this is what your MAP output would be at idle. And imagine trying to make your car run with your MAP doing this kind of thing. That's horrendous. So aside from it being 25% lean for putting that elbow on it, it's also made the signal complete garbage. So I'm gonna go up to wide open throttle real quick, and show you how bad it is there. But obviously this is just not gonna idle if you're lucky at night. Okay, here is the map output at 1. So it is moving from like -6%, so 6% lean, all the way to about 10% rich. So this is the map output. And this is what happens when you put things like, let me turn back out to the mirror. So don't do this. This is the last thing that you want. So anytime you see somebody doing plumbing and they have like a map right after a bend or a transition or a tape or things like that, it completely makes the map output garbage. So you always want your filter to be the last thing in line from the map sensor, or you need some nice straight tubing at least, 12, 14 inches before the map. So anytime you see people building inlet tubing where they've got bends and things or a full air kit, that's not what you want. It completely screws the map signal. So ideally you want to filter directly on the map or lots of straight tubing. So hopefully this can be helpful to you guys. A little bit of mass airflow sensor stuff, and I'll try and post some more cool math videos.